The expectations were that headline would come in at 8.1. It came in at 8.2. Oh man, so a disastrous CPI reading leaves Bitcoin tumbling to 18,100. Could we be going down to test those June lows of 17,600? In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what was said in that CPI reading and why markets are so dismayed. As you can see here in the charts, after the reading, markets simply tumbled. The equity markets were initially green and tumbled all the way down here. How low could we go? This is now handed back over to Jerome Powell with his FOMC meeting just 2 weeks away. What could this mean for interest rates and the ensuing global financial crisis? Guys, don't forget to smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. If you appreciate these updates on the data which matters, let me know in the comments and support the channel. If you want to buy any crypto, you can do so using Bybit or BITGET. Links in the description. As you can see, CPI reading came in. The expectations, let's make sure we understand the expectations. The expectations were that headline would come in at 8.1. It came in at 8.2. So whilst it wasn't a crazy disaster, I'm going to explain to you exactly why markets are not happy. We also had core inflation expected to go 6.5, went to 6.6 on this reading here. Doesn't sound like a lot, but why are markets responding like this? Why are markets tumbling to the downside? Now, incidentally here, I'm on the minute chart. Literally, this has just happened a handful of minutes ago. As you can see, we are consolidating, but is this a bear flag? By the time I've uploaded this video, you would find out the answer to that. Are we going to come back down and test some of these lows? I'm also going to show you something in the weekly chart, which is going to be important as well. But first and foremost, what do the markets have priced in? And this is so interesting to see, because I just refreshed it in front of you guys, and we just got off of a live stream. And on that live stream, I said this should be 90%. And I also said that the market should now start to price in 100 basis points. And that's exactly what we're seeing, guys. So we've nailed that again. Shout out in the comments if you appreciate the accuracy of that. We literally said this should be at 90%. The markets have 90% price in 75 basis points. There's no way he's pivoted. In other words, he cannot do 50 basis points. That would be political suicide at this point. And now you're seeing a little bit of the market. 7.5% of the market is now saying he's going to have to go and do 100 basis point rate hike. This economy is in a mess right now, and crypto is following for now. And I'm going to explain the narrative, which I'm looking forward to seeing if it's going to play out. Let's sit here on the weekly, and you guys will remember I shared with you a very important pattern. And I went back to the 2018 bear market, and I said we formed a triangle then, which when we broke down from this technical pattern, the same one we're forming now on the weekly chart, we broke down and we eventually 6 weeks later got to our low of 3,200 on Bitcoin. It then took around 18 months before you then set up to this point here, which then led up to our full bull market. 18 months. So a lot of people are saying 2023 could be a write-off. Very much so. If we head to a global financial crisis, this crypto winter can continue, and it could be worse than this period here because the traditional finance markets were relatively better then than they are now. When we fell from 20,000 down to our lows of 3,000, we had a rebound within the next year up to 13,800. Call it 14,000 here on Bitcoin for each sake. Now, if we forward ourselves now into Bitcoin, what are we doing? We're forming the same pattern. If you take this triangle pattern, what is the technical target? The technical target brings you down here to lows at around 12,600, but you've also got the horizontal support coming in from that 14,000 level. So that is what I'm looking out for on Bitcoin on the weekly chart. Now, zooming in slightly, let's now get over to the 4-hourly, and I want to show you on my other chart where we're at. This is a normal chart we look at, and you guys know here on the 4-hourly, we broke down from this triangle, right? We broke down from this triangle, and we had to hold support 18,700, and I said, I don't think we're going to hold support this time. You can go back and watch my videos. I said at this point here, if we lose this trend line, I don't think we're going to hold 18,700. And it's played out exactly like that. We did not. And now I'm looking for one important point, and that is what you can see here. So we've broken down from this triangle. Now, when you break down from a triangle, what are your supports? This is your first support zone. We failed that. This is your second support zone, 18,700. We've just broken that. So the last support is right at the bottom of the wedge, which is here, 18,200, which incidentally is exactly where we saw the support coming now during this dip. Now, by the time I've uploaded this video, maybe that's changed. Maybe we've managed to work our way up to 18,700 again. That's what I want to see. But if we don't, and we lose this bottom of the wedge here, and we're unable to hold this support here, then I am looking us to test our June lows of 17,600. 700. That's back here. Okay, so that's what I'm looking back in June. Sorry, let me just scroll back and show you that. Back in June, that's your level here, back down here at 17,600. That's what I'm looking to play out here on Bitcoin. That is what I'm expecting. What am I expecting slightly longer term? Does that mean that I think 17,600 is the bottom? No. Like I showed you on the weekly chart, if we lose 17,600, then I'm looking for that triangle to play out, which I was sharing with you guys, then gets you to that 14,000 level from the support of the failed bull run in the summer of 2019. That is what I'm looking out for. Also, interestingly, is after the CPI reading came out, we saw the dollar index respond very positively. Initially, it was down 0.5% today because the GBP was actually doing all right. It was rebounding, but I knew that once inflation came in, we said the inflation is bad, the dollar index will rebound, and it is rebounding. Now what we need to see from the dollar index is we want to make sure it doesn't create a higher high, but I think the worrying sign is it will. And if it does, and it creates a higher high and keeps trending with higher highs and higher lows, then we're going to be in a problem here. What the Bitcoin bulls want is for this to curl over. Don't want it to create a higher high. We want a double top pattern, right? Like this. Or we want a reverse Adam and Eve pattern so the dollar index fails and falls to the downside. But right now, macroeconomics are on the side of the Dixie. Inflation continues to be high. Jerome Powell is in a bit of a bother now, and you're seeing that markets are now pricing in, for the first time, 100 basis point rate hike, which will take you to 4 to 4.25 here on the interest rate. So things are scary out there in the market. They are getting a little nervy, but it's important that we stay composed right now. We knew inflation was going to be an issue. We know that Jerome Powell cannot control everything from a demand side. This is really important, guys. I know a lot of you are new to crypto and you're not following some of the macroeconomics. One thing we need to understand is Jerome Powell can only control the demand side of inflation. He can stop consumers like you and I from buying and therefore reduce prices. What he cannot control is the supply side. And most of the inflation, the sticky inflation we're seeing, which just won't go away. Remember, they were saying it was transitory, being caused by supply side issues. It's the China supply chain issues, the Russia-Ukraine war causing issues. These are supply side factors with Jerome Powell and even 100, 200 basis point interest rate hike not going to solve. So now, what's my mindset? What am I doing in the market? I had limit orders set. I shared that with you guys on the live stream. I'm able to pick up some cheap Bitcoin at these different price points. I've got limit orders which get more aggressive the closer we get to 17,600. Then I'm setting some more even below that in case we do want to visit that 14,000 area. But I don't think that's going to be easy for us to get to that level. I'm still focused on that 17,600. Now, am I panic selling? Absolutely not. Have I changed my thesis on crypto? Absolutely not. What I do know is this is the first time that crypto is entering into a global financial crisis. Yep, a global financial crisis similar to 2008. And if we do enter in that depression, global financial crisis era, how will Bitcoin perform? And one of the narratives I'm looking forward to seeing is, will it prove itself as the traditional finance antidote? 2008, when Greece was in bother during the credit crunch and the mortgage crisis and all the other things were going on and countries were knocking on the door of the IMF, Bitcoin was just in its infancy. Toshi was still working on his baby. Now it's got a 14-year track record, ready to prove that there is an alternative. If the GBP is tumbling, I can go put it in Bitcoin, right? Every other people has this opportunity. If your currency is getting weaker, you now have the option to go for decentralized money. And that wasn't in play the last great financial crisis in 2008. Guys, if you've got conviction, continue to hold, continue to be pragmatic. If you're nervous and you're finding you're too nervous, you need to ask yourself, do you have conviction? Guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to go watch the full live stream of the CPI breakdown, exactly how it came out minute by minute. Also go watch my Cardano video, and there's a Phantom and Near Protocol video as well. So those are great content for you guys to go catch up on. Smash the like. Don't forget to check out Bybit and BitGet. Links in the description if you want to trade any of these moves. I'll see you in the next one.